Internal Revenue Service IRS tax news. National Tax Security Awareness Week, Day 5. Security Summit partners remind businesses to tighten security. Be aware of steps to help protect data loss. But first, an attempt at a joke. I apologize in advance. I thought I was Sherlock Holmes after completing my last tax return, given the brilliant deductions. The IRS auditor had a different perspective on the matter, however, proclaiming, "These deductions are elementary deductions, my dear Watson. Instead of solving the crime, they think I committed one. Apparently, the game is afoot, and they want to cut mine out from under me. However, the game is not up, because I'm not going down. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth, which, to the government, is irrelevant. Because according to the government, a taxpayer is just someone who has what it takes." IR 2021-241, December 3rd, 2021, Washington. The Internal Revenue Service, state tax agencies, and the nation's tax industry urged businesses to be alert to cyber attacks aimed at gaining access to business data and customer information, and be aware of steps to help them on tax-related issues related to identity theft. The partners operating cooperatively as the Security Summit, there's a link to that here, to fight identity theft, marked the final day of National Tax Security Awareness Week, with a warning to businesses to use the strongest measures possible to protect their data and systems. Quote, "Businesses, just like individuals and tax pros, need to stay alert," end quote, said IRS Commissioner Chuck Rettig. Quote, "Thieves may steal enough information to file a business tax return or use other scams that involve the company or its employees," end quote. More than 70% of cyber attacks are aimed at businesses with 100 or fewer employees. That's not good. Con artists can target credit card or payment information, the business identity information, or employee identity information. Businesses are encouraged to follow best practices from the Federal Trade Commission, including set security software to update automatically, back up important files, require strong passwords for all devices, encrypt devices, and use multi-factor authentication. More information is available at FTC's Cybersecurity for Small Business. There's a link to that here. Businesses should especially be alert to any COVID-19 or tax-related phishing email scams that attempt to trick employees into opening embedded links or attachments. IRS-related scams may be sent to phishing@irs.gov, that being the email address. We'll have a link to this in the description if you want to look that up on your own. Starting late last year, the IRS began masking sensitive information from business tax transcripts, the summary of corporate tax returns, to help prevent thieves from obtaining identifiable information that would allow them to file fake business tax returns. Only financial entries are fully visible. All other information has varying masking rules. For example, only the first 4 letters of each first and last name of individuals and businesses will display. Only the last 4 digits of the employer identification number will be visible. The IRS also has the Form 1439B Business Identity Theft Affidavit. There's a link to that here, that will allow companies to proactively report possible identity theft to the IRS when, for example, an e-file tax return is rejected. Businesses should file the Form 1439B if it receives a rejection notice for an electronically filed return, because a return already is on file for that same period. So if you are working in the tax business or making tax returns, preparing tax returns, or an individual, and you try to send in your tax return electronically, which is the way the IRS is preferring to have them these days, and the software automatically rejects it, then it could possibly be due to the fact that someone has stolen the identity, filed a tax return in its place before you filed your tax return, and in that instance, you might want to file then this Form 1439 Business Identity Theft Affidavit. Notice about a tax return that the entity didn't file. If you get a notice about Form W-2, filed with the Social Security Administration that the entity didn't file, a notice of a balance due that is not owed. This form will enable the IRS to respond to the business much faster than in the past and work to resolve issues created by fraudulent tax return. Businesses should not use the form if they experience a data breach but see no tax-related impact. So if you get a data breach and you're saying, okay, now my identity has been compromised here, that means they could file a tax return, but they have not yet done so. At least, they haven't used the information that they have stolen in that type of malicious way yet. So then your response would not be to do the thing that would normally be done after they have stolen the information and used it in a malicious way for tax-related purposes, that being the Form 14039B, but rather try to take proactive steps to, even though your information has been compromised, try to stop them from being able to use that information to file a tax return, which would be a different set of steps. So for more information, you can see Identity Theft Central's business section. There's a link to that here. Although various tax scams can come and go, employers should remain alert to the Form W-2 theft schemes. In the most common version, a thief poses as a high-ranking company executive who emails payroll employees and asks for a list of employees and their W-2s. Businesses often don't know they've been scammed until an employee reports a fraudulent tax return has been filed. There's a special reporting process for employers who experience the W-2 scam. It also may be found at Identity Theft Central's business section. There's a link to that here. Finally, Security Summit partners urge businesses to keep their EIN application information current. Changes of address or responsible party may be reported using Form 8822B. There's a link to that here. Reminder, changes in the responsible party must be reported to the IRS within 60 days. Current information can help the IRS find a point of contact to resolve identity theft and other issues. The IRS, state tax agencies, the private sector tax industry, including tax professionals, work in partnership as the Security Summit to help protect taxpayers from identity theft and refund fraud. This is the final installment in a week-long series of tips. There's a link to those here to raise awareness about identity theft. See irs.gov/security summit. There's a link to that for more details. Also, check out the most recent A Closer Look column on National Tax Security Awareness Week. There's a link to that here as well.